However, they've won 8 out of 10, and they're suddenly found some pitching as they get to the later part, the call-ups. They could bring in some kids and might make it interesting. But baseball, pretty much a wash in this area. When the Braves go down, 8 to 10 states don't have a baseball team anymore. The biggest physical market, probably among the largest in population. Braves have an obligation to try to win. I think they're realizing it, and you're starting to see them perk up a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that as we wind down to the kickoff of college football. I know all of you are waiting at the edge of your seats on this one. I really think the story will be, do people really care about college football this year? Will we see the fan revolt that should have happened before? Yeah, the fans should have revolted when they saw how television has basically manipulated the games. You can tell the outcomes are manipulated. You can see the effects. The referees can make the games go kind of one direction if they choose to. And what I've noticed is that it's kind of like video games. They're programmed to keep games close. Television likes that. So the game and the integrity of the games at some point will be obvious to fans, and that's when it's going to hit the fan. Think about all the sports that used to have the world on a string. Boxing used to be a very popular sport. Then it got to the point where it was obvious that the results were doubtful as to the integrity of the outcomes, and that became so obvious that people stopped caring about boxing. The NBA, a very similar trajectory. I think their attendance is down 50%, at least, maybe more. Their television audience at one point was down 75%. So will the fans actually start to reject college football? What I've noticed is just being the codger that scrolls through the internet just for recreation, and you see a lot of posts about Georgia. And what I've noticed is that a very large amount of them have almost no reactions, no comments. We're talking about national publications that send stuff out. Go on Facebook and scroll and look at UGA posts and see how many of them don't have a whole lot of attention. That tells you a lot, because it used to be not that way. Like a Facebook post that was put out by some network, a nice little post, gets no reactions to those thousands of comments. And almost all the comments that you do see are negative concerning Georgia. And I think the fans are really at the point where, I don't know, Georgia doesn't come out really looking good early. I don't know if they're really going to keep supporting this team. So the command for Georgia is to come out swinging and scoring. If they continue to do what they've done the last 2 years, I think they're going to play themselves into a hole that they'll spend a decade getting out of. And that's really the reality. And it will not be an easy decade either way. The sport itself is crawling into a hole. So this season's going to be one to watch to see how Georgia does and see how the league does, because it's probably compared to history, probably on paper, probably most of the teams are relying on too many young players. Now, usually that's a recipe for disaster. It used to be, you come in there, no matter what your history might be, you come into a season with 30 or more players that haven't really played on your roster, or half the roster hasn't played much, and the ones that you're going to go with haven't played together, and that's pretty much typical. There's a few outliers, and playing together means anything. That means that Penn State might be the best team in the country, and I think Arizona State they have the most experience. They have the most experience coming back. So it's going to be interesting to see how the season goes. I really think it might be, in an odd way, a fun season, because I don't think there is any favorite. Texas already has a lot of injuries already. it could be a wacko season. So I'm kind of watching it to see just how bad it can be. I'm not watching this season with any expectation for Georgia. I've already pegged them as 7-5, and if they go better than that, I'll tip my hat because they really are looking at a 7-5 season. Last year could have been 8-4 with just a little change of luck. Yeah, you got to admit that Georgia Tech game could have been a loss very easy. We could have lost to Kentucky just like that, because when you got a team that struggles to get to 20 points, and often in 5 games, I think it was last year, they didn't get to 20. And when you have an offense that could settle at 10, that's not a team that's going to win a lot of games. But Georgia has 7, 8 wins scheduled. So, but could they have a Florida State meltdown? What if they do come out of the gate slow, drop a couple of games early, come out 2-2 before they even get to the big games? This team could turn into a Florida State meltdown. And that really might be exactly what this team needs.